2, 3. Let's see if this works. Get an audio check. We'll make a noise. Live streaming offline. So I see more people, so at least it seems to be working there. Tell me if I have audio. If I say hello here, let me reload this page. See if it updates the live stream. There we go. All right, now I know I'm live. Cool. Greetings from Vegas. All right. I am good. Awesome. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am here on Valentine's Day. Today is brought to you by Voodoo Ranger. Hopefully, the stream stays steady. My kid's playing some games. The wife's watching TV. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, all the way from Australia. So today we're going to talk about business a little bit. I'll wait till a few more people are here so I'll babble on about the business. I actually have a little bit of a topic. But we've been really, really busy. So every video I started was disrupted by so many phone calls and not really issues, but things that had to be dealt with, things that had to be done. And it's kind of why I want to talk a little bit about business today, because it's what does Tom do when he's not doing videos? I mean, okay, in general, you know I run an IT company. So, yeah, I have my traffic shaper set. I do, but well, I test too many firewalls at home, so things aren't always configured right. Home is where all the lab testing goes on when I'm testing firewalls. Good news, good news is going to be the SG3100 video should be done this weekend. There has been a lot of back and forth with the folks over at pfSense. I had questions about the product and understanding of how it worked, and also I'll give a shout out if you look for SG3100. Someone who's a fan of my channel also did a video on it, so hey, awesome, get out there, start doing great content. I like that. There's never enough of it out there, and it's hard for me to review everything. So I'm excited to say though that review is coming. So, and I mean, if you want to know the short of it, I like the product a lot. So the SG 1100 is a great product. So I can already tell you, I don't think that's going to be too surprising. It's working out some of the details about its routing speed and questions. It doesn't matter if you leave that on or off. Seems fine. So my wife's turning the lights on and off in the other room. So it does have not really issues, but there's little details about it, and I try to be very thorough. So when I had questions about it, I reached out to the people over at pfSense. I wanted to make sure I understood a couple things about it. So that's part of the reason for all of those little things. Seeing issues with the Unify updates, yes. That's also been part of keeping me busy. It's not that the updates really cause problems, but it is interesting. They went from like the 12 to 15 to 17 release to solve some of those problems. And you're exactly right that the SG1100, the price point's excellent. So we had a hacker night at the office last night, and that was of course one of the firewalls I had out, because we had a discussion about firewalls at the DEF CON 313 meetup. And the SG3100, it's just kind of even, the performance of it is good. It's not as good as the SG3100, but it's also a lot less. And for a lot of home users, especially people who want to get started with pfSense, it's right in the price range that you want. I mean, it's less than half the price of the SG3100. So you got a really good price zone, and it works fair. Oh, okay. I think my zero-tier appliance was Jodoljo's. Yeah, the zero-tier is one of the products I want to look at too. I know there are actively in the forums people talking about the Unifies and some of the updates or some firmware changes you can do to fix that. So not a big deal. The Unifies are the Unify people are working on this. This upgrade it seems to only affect the really old products so far. We really haven't had that many issues. We have a couple products that offer downgrades, but they're working, so we're kind of like, I don't know why it's asking this, but it's functioning. I'm going to probably do a follow-up video on Unify tomorrow. I also, and I was going to do it at the office, but everything just kept coming at me. I have a Lux encryption video I started. I have to finish it. I have all my notes. There's, my videos start with notes, of course, and making sure that I can clearly articulate things. I don't need them because they're products I use so much. I use Lux encryption all the time, but I wanted to make sure there was some detail behind how it worked. So it has a few extra notes that are for part of the video to make sure I'm very thorough with it. I'll have to meet you next. Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I love that you're going to DEF CON. That's great. So yeah, the SG30, the firewall reviews are coming. If everything goes well, I'll be doing that this weekend. But now there's at least 50 of you here, and there's actually 50,000 of you, which is awesome. Thank you very much. I'm so happy we have that 50,000 under our belt now. And the last week has just been painful from a business standpoint, because there's just been so much, and painful because I didn't get to do what I want to do. Anytime I don't get to do what I want to do, which means something interfere with it. But those are always opportunities. Anytime you have problems are opportunities. And it sounds like an optimistic thing to say, but I try to be very optimistic. I look at what processes need to be put in place, and we have the last couple weeks, you've seen him do a couple of business videos with me. Brett has been helping me out with my business, and we're doing some more structuring in the company to help solve any of these problems. And anytime you have a problem, you put a process around it so the problem doesn't reoccur. And they're not big problems, but they're growth problems that you have when you get too many things coming in at once, or a process or procedures not followed, and things like that. The other side of it that's occupied so much of my time is not just that we have been busy, but we took on some very large structured projects that we're doing, and I knew the project was going to be troublesome. The good news is it's well funded. So I'm willing to work with problems. I'm willing to work with all the trouble. It's going to require more management time, but I am compensated for that. Therefore, I am fine with that. And that's kind of an aspect that it's not that I want to deal with those problems, but there's a bunch of architectural issues and the design issues with the way they wanted to architect this very, very large project. We also had to work on the money side of it, because we had to decide how much of the project we were going to front before we got certain deposit checks. And I kind of joke, 'cause I talk about this a lot, like even with my staff. If you've played any resource management games, you have the same thing going on, where you are trying to balance all of the resources you have, the budget you have, and making it all work in balance and mitigating risk. There's a certain amount of risk you're going to take on as a business while you wait for certain checks to clear and things like that. And that scales up with the projects. PF sensing ubiquity, unifying the same server, seems like a horrible idea. Probably there's a way you could make it happen. I wouldn't even try. You want the least amount of things on your firewall. That's a security problem. I also realized that there's some, what's up, cuz? Are you my cousin? Or are you just referring to that? I have very, very few cousins, so it's interesting if it actually is my cousin. I'm going to be doing some network architectural videos. I realize some people want some more bigger picture how we design a network and some of the methodologies, and I realize that's a really important aspect that is just missing. I looked through my channel going, wow, I never really covered the why. And I think the why I do things is, anytime you do something, I don't want to just tell you how. The why is really important, because the why allows you to extrapolate how to do something better. So that's going to be some up and coming videos. But back to some of the business stuff. So that's one of the things that, yes, I'm a geek who runs a business, but I'm an entrepreneur by definition. I definitely have like an entrepreneurial spirit, but the other side of it is too, I really prefer to have my hands on the tech. So I am less happy dealing with the business aspects. And it's one of those things. It's not that I don't want to own my business, but sometimes you kind of don't want to deal with business because it's the more painful part that I have to deal with. So it's been that way. The other side is we've had a lot of projects come through and the margins were really good. So therefore, that's, yeah, that's the other side of it too. What up, kid?
Link's Awakening is getting remade for the Switch.
Yes, it is. Did you look at the remake of it?
No.
This is important news. Link's Awakening is getting remade for the Switch. This is exciting. I know, I've seen it. Did I miss a follow-up on PF Sense Shaping Unlimited? No, you didn't. I've actually just referred to Mark Furman's videos because his videos are really damn good on traffic shaping. It's hard to top them. Granted, they're for the previous version of PF Sense, but the menus haven't really changed since their version updates. So Mark Furman's videos are still as excellent as they have always been on that particular topic. He put a lot of animations and stuff like that in there and put it there, so it's really good. Back to some of the business stuff. So one of the things I've been really working on though is process procedure, and making sure everyone understands their process, and we're trying to fill some gaps in the company so I can delegate more of my process. Two of the processes that need to be delegated is some of the market automation tools. We're using some of them. We need to use more to make sure we follow up on people, to make sure we get, yeah, can the Switchblade crisis? Yeah, right. The whole aspect of it, though, is to make sure that all these processes can easily be handed off so they don't require me as much. So I usually start by doing some of the sales processes, especially with this YouTube, and then once I understand it and compartmentalize it, I pass it off to a staff member or hire a staff member to do that, and go from there. So it's how we've been doing some of the workflow with the jobs and stuff like that. So that's been a slow and long time coming to make all that happen, and that's actually why Brett, who you, like I said, you've seen him in some of the business talk videos. Me and him are going to be doing a few more business talks. He's actually going to be talking from coming in from another industry and working in IT. So that's going to be, we wanted to have a juxtaposition because Brett's an experienced business manager who is also now coming into the IT fold of things and seeing how we see things. So he's dealt with IT vendors before, but working for one's very different. So that's been kind of exciting because it gives me an outside perspective of my business, and hopefully will offer some insights into things maybe I didn't share. Because I think it's weird when people ask me like, "What didn't you share about your business? Like, are you trying to keep some secret?" I get weird emails like that, or contacts like that. I'm like, no, maybe I didn't cover something because I didn't know you want it covered, but that's different than it's not that I have any problem sharing any of it. Oh, yeah, I have kids. They do that too. He's got to, jump in once in a while when we're not playing video games. He's upset because I keep beating him with Smash Brothers with Mennonite.
What?
As I keep spamming the same button all the time, he says.
Well, I got an Ike. I have an Ike and I E3.
Yes, I have looked at tools like Odoo. I don't know. I think that's how you say it. They're way more extensive than I think I need. I'm still happy with Invoice Ninja for my open source platform, and then we have a few other things. We use HubSpot and some of that to follow up on some of the sales. So yeah, we're looking at things, but the Odoo stuff is neat, but boy, is it extensive. It's well beyond, it's a process into itself to onboard it. It's not like a turnkey system. It's a very extensive system that requires a lot of customization. It's generally targeted towards very, very large companies. I am not. I am a niche focused company with fewer staff. I have like 10 people working, so it's very different. We don't use QuickBooks at all. We use K by Money and Invoice Ninja for all of our billing and ledger. I would bill materials as soon as proposal accepted. Make sure it's clear when discussing proposal, new clients, and large projects. Yeah, there's some of that too, but it's also there's also just a lot of it's a little more complicated than that because scope of work has already changed from when we bid the project and got the deposit, because the blueprints have changed now twice since we bid the project and scope of work. Matter of fact, it was a reduction in scope. So scope creep, yes, it creeped the other way, but we know there's going to be a creep in other directions. They asked to do something else, so the budget shifted. And this is part of, like I said, I've got a video that says reality versus expectations on wiring projects, and I have not seen any large scale project, and this project is in the $200,000 range, so there's all kinds of dynamics in it that are going to change. So when you're dealing with that larger of a project, and there's many, many vendors involved, electricians and other builders, all in this giant building, there's just this back and forth. And like I said, just the IT infrastructure is like a $200,000 piece of it. So there's just a lot going on. You just have to be on top of it all the time. So that's just, yeah, that's one of those things that we have to deal with. It requires some of my time, but there's money involved, so I make sure we do it because that's what funds all their stuff. I mean, I make a few dollars off YouTube, but my real money is still made in my IT business. I mean, I could probably support myself independently with YouTube, but it doesn't near pay what my business pays. So that's just the reality of it right now. But it's things you have to be on top of. Pint of Crown. No, we actually have some Buffalo Trace next to me as well. One of my other favorites here. So point of sale, not really point of sale, but invoicing is done through Invoice Ninja. We have really scaled back on the retail over the years. We've just pulled way back from it. Retail's not really a market. We've actually watched all the retail stores around us all just kind of disappear. So yeah. Oh, the Pint, Voodoo Ranger. So for those of you just joining us again. So that's definitely some of the issues. Like I said, it's kept me from doing videos because I really had to put the priority there. But I'm coming back to it now. The fun thing about doing videos, podcasts, just being a creator in general, is all the opportunities that may come from that, and that's where it's also been exciting because I'm presented with interesting opportunity, which I'm following up with a company tomorrow. They want to use some of my content, and it's not really licensing. We just have to make sure it's the legal term's going to be contract in lieu of, or let's say rights for consideration. So there's a company that wants to use some of my content with part of their newsletter. So I'm going to be working out some deals. Then they want me to do some other content for them. One of the agreements I always work is I like the broader audience of YouTube. So they tell people I'm too expensive to produce private content for. But if we do co-branded content and things like that, it may open some opportunities. So that's something I can't. There's not an NDA any of this. It's just there's not enough solid for me to give it. But it's my goal that I want to work towards is keep doing the geek things I do. Have someone else help manage more of my business, then produce a lot more videos. I want to get back to where I'm producing constantly 4 or 5 on tech, and one of my goals is eventually include where I can travel and go to some of these places and go to events and bring more content to you. In the enterprise tech and in enterprise networking, I want to see how many people I've been meeting with, even some of the red teams and people I know that work on higher level pen testing, network testing, and these are great people to know because they have no problem sharing their knowledge. They don't have a good transport method for that knowledge to get it to you. So me consolidating this, and this is something I've had a dream of for almost a year and a half. I own a domain called How They Got Hacked, and I want to interview some of these red teams to talk about the breaches, talk about the how the breaches happen, and that's just more exciting content. And that maybe end up being sponsored content eventually by some of the companies that help mitigate that. And it's not that I'm trying to, someone has to pay for all the time that goes into this, but it's also to share with you some of the products that are out there. So it's definitely it's a whole aspect that's got to be covered, I think, on this, because the more knowledge we can get out there, the more we can get better at securing our networks, the better we get, I know it's a bad term I just said, but better at securing networks, better at applying these. Kind of related and segue into this, we are now, one of the other things we've done is we've signed up with, officially, we've been testing it, we officially signed with, the details are, the ink isn't dry, how's that? But we've agreed to via email, so I guess that's an official contract in 2019 until they got money coming. Hunter Slabs, and I'm going to be doing some interviews with them, talking about their product. And it's because we're using it, we're deploying it. And it's absolutely an amazing product. So that's going to be awesome. And yeah, the security videos, I want them to be very practical because you can only learn so much from school. I want you to learn from real world experiences. And one of my heroes, you look at Darren Kitchen, Hack 5, awesome people. That's right there. We need more Darren Kitchens. We need more people like we see on Hack 5. We need more. If you haven't looked up Jay Street and talk about his physical pen testing stuff, Jay Street's amazing. Go to any of his talks. He spoke at DEF CON many times. That's the content we need more of out there, because that's how we get better at cybersecurity, is have a better understanding of it, have a lot of different learning tools out there. That's the goal. So, these are all those things that I want to put into both my channel. It's stuff we're doing in a business. And I don't think there's any secrets on this. It's not about being secret. It's about, public disclosure. And this is one of the reasons that I connected with Huntress Labs was they're huge on public disclosure of any vulnerabilities. Follow their Twitter. They break a lot of it down. They talk a lot about it. These are what we discovered. This is how we discovered it. They share that information with everybody. Yes, their product helps them discover it, but they're still sharing back out with the greater crowd. That's the important aspect of cybersecurity. This is why I help out with DEF CON 313 project here in Detroit. I want more people in cybersecurity. We need more people getting interested in it, not to be afraid of it, to start asking questions and getting a better understanding of it. So hoping you can get those security videos together. Really looking forward to it. Great. Yes, absolutely. I enjoy the hell out of doing it for sure. Resave physical printing. How about that? Deviant Olam. I'd say he's pretty good at source video site. Yeah, there's all kinds of people out there. Jay Streets is someone we have mutual friends, so he's really interesting. Freepbx, excellent. So for those of you who don't know, if I switched over to Freepbx actually quite a while ago now, almost a year I think. We're really happy with it, no problems. I have some videos I'm going to do as a couple follow-ups on that. I'm also, we have a big PBX project we're doing, and we're coordinating the project. Chris is a friend of mine from Crosstalk Solutions, and we're having him do the free PBX side. We're doing the physical side for a big company here in Detroit. There's a lot of integrations going into it, so it's not like just a basic PBX system, it's larger. He's also a fan of the YouTube channel, so I'll see how much of it I can put on YouTube, because it's, you know, going to be kind of fun too. So we'll talk about some of that physical side. Maybe I'll even talk to Chris about I think the project's all going to go well. There's a lot of question the client has, but it's a big company with a lot to do, so it's going to be a fun project. And like I said, the company, because the guy knows me from YouTube, it's a company, and they don't have any. They're not a medical company, so there's not a risk of personal information being leaked, which is some of the challenge with some of the clients we go out to. If they're medical or anything where there's a problem, plus if they don't know that I broadcast on YouTube, or they're older companies that go, what's a YouTube, they aren't welcoming for me to wander around with cameras in their building. So he may be even watching now. I may reach out to this person when we do some of the projects and talk about, hey, how much can we turn into a video? You know, and what I already know the guy, he'll ask me for a discount for doing it. Hey, why not? The video will get a lot of views. It'll be a lot of fun to do. So I'm fine with that. So yeah, and like I said, I outsource some of the free PBX stuff to Chris. He's an expert at it. I am not. I can get my way through free PBX. I can figure it out. I'm good at searching it. We definitely have no problem customizing our system, but it's a time over value thing. For me, it's one of those things. It's cheaper in the long run for me to outsource a project with some complexities to Chris. Go, hey Chris, set this up, get it done. I put my on it, everybody wins. I make some money, Chris makes some money, we're all good. I didn't have to try and get my staff is not well trained on FreePBX. They can get through it, they can fix things on it. Setting one up from scratch, you're going to be a little bit slower at it. And by the way, my staff is all very busy right now, so it's been hard to reply to even all the jobs because we have to schedule them out a couple days. So at this moment, we're not hiring, but eventually we will be, because when the staff gets all busy, we can do it. So we outsource work like that. What kind of challenges are involved in radio broadcasts? I have no idea. Have you heard of high-tech? Let me look over here. It disappeared off my screen. Have you heard of high-tech IT company in Clare County? I have not heard of one. IPv6? Nope. Don't really do any IPv6. Nobody's asking for it. Anytime I hear people talking IPv6, it's generally not in America. We just pretty much everything here is legacy IPv4, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Yeah, oh yeah, Chris's channel's Crosstalk Solutions. So yes, in case you didn't know which Chris I'm talking about. Chris from Crosstalk Solutions. Great channel, a lot of great videos. So, EdgeMax switches are fine, use them. I have no problem with them. I prefer the unified ones, but if you need the features that are in an EdgeMax switch, go for it. They're great switches. It comes down to, do you have the feature needs that they have? The Edge line has more features than a unified line. Do you need said features? If you do, then that's what you go with. Or, for example, if you're already using UNMS, the Edge line is maintained through UNMS, and if you already have an existing UNMS, we just help the client set this up. They're already using it. They didn't want anything but Edge switches because all their existing systems are already on UNMS. Therefore, they went with more UNMS products because they're familiar with them. They have use cases for them. So the switches physically are so similar to each other. It's just different software runs on them. Education and intelligence are not the same thing. That's very true. Are you ever going to do tutorials on the Edge switches? No, I don't have many clients. So any of the clients I have that have Edge switches are so one-off. They're generally people who I'm doing minimal amounts of configuration and they take care of the rest. I'm not a big Edge switch person. We have a few deployed in there for a few clients because of the systems they have set up. But yeah, I think they're a great product. I just not probably, Willie does a lot of tutorials on them. I've not taken the time to get really good at them. One of my staff is, but he's really bad at tutorials. I won't lie. He's good at setting up switches. He's not good at some of the tutorials. Hey, awesome. Thank you. $50. Next bottle, Buffalo Trace in the bottle of hot sauce. Yes. I have to go to sit in Sanford Bay traffic. Yes, I heard traffic sucks there. Have a good VD. Install that Cat 69 cable. Oh, I like it. KO. Love it. Cat 69. Why did I not think to call this Cat 69? Why I wasn't thinking. So thank you, UNX Format. You were thinking for me here. This vlog should have been titled Cat 69. I like it. Also, anyone who wants to fling money at me, always welcome. You can fling any money you want. You know, it does cost money to do all this stuff and takes a lot of time and things like that. So it's always greatly appreciated. So, or just hire us for stuff. Hire us for things. That's a great way to throw money at me. Find things that you need done and hire my staff to do it. Yeah, I love that I have people of that are, I've got to meet some really awesome veterans of the field. I have a business owner that contacted me today who's got a sizable IT company in a couple states. So it's fun. The camaraderie between people who are, seasoned veterans, gray hair like myself, and the juxtaposition of helping out people who go, I just want to get started. I want to get started in this field. I had someone reach out today to me, which is awesome. I'm assuming he's also a fan of the YouTube channel, that he happens to live locally, and he's 16. He's already done some Unify installs. And I'm like, hey, that's awesome. That's great. I love hearing when young people are already diving into a lot of this, because I dove into it young. So when you're dealing with tech, it's about experience. You spend a lot of time doing it, you get good at it. So if you started at 16 as opposed to 26, you're 10 years ahead of that person. You spent 10 years really working at it, so you can get that much better. Do you think open source software will hit a point of no return like electric vehicles are hitting with the Model 3? Not at all. More and more things are going open source because of cybersecurity issues, because of supply chain attacks. The only solution to things like supply chain attacks, the only solution to software development like this is open source. There's not any question anymore. Microsoft's embracing it. Matter of fact, it wasn't worthy of sharing, but it was funny. Some company tried to create some, the FUD, as they call it, fear, uncertainty, doubt, about some open source and things like that. And Microsoft came to bat, going, "You guys are completely wrong." And it was kind of a feel good read about that. But it's one of those things. There's not really. There's not going back from open source. It's one of those things, more and more companies realizing it. And the value of open source, and I've talked about this in another video, but one of the values of open source is it puts importance on the people, not the code. The code's free. So before, the concept in some companies, and you can go back and Eric Raymond wrote the book. Please read it if you haven't, The Theater and a Bazaar. It's a short read. It's an essay, not really a book. Well, there's a book, but there's an essay. You can find the essay, and it's a short read. Theater and a Bazaar. And it talks about the different concepts of software development. It's fundamentally an important book. But the other side of that is when you take all these way the older markets worked. These companies would put great value on their code, and they could find any group of code monkeys to keep writing the code. So the code was valuable, but not the people. And what would happen in that circumstance they would build a product, but the people that were really good at maintaining the product might leave, and then the product may fall apart and not be so good. You take IBM buying Red Hat, completely different dynamic than anything they bought. Red Hat's code's free. So IBM couldn't have bought the code. They can't own it. IBM bought a bunch of smart people that maintain code. They realized keeping those smart people that maintain code is the value of Red Hat. So open source puts the value back on the people, which is important. The code is free. Anyone can have a copy of the code. But do you have the person that can maintain the code? Do you have the person that can create better versions of that code? That's where the value is, and that's also the other dynamic of open source for why you're seeing so much open source and why you're not going to see it go away. Catch up on my comments real here. Do you think open source software will hit a point of no return? Nope. I know you've been playing Unify video jobs, use case for other products you have, play with Synology, Surveillance Station. Someone like this. Someone knows I say that all the time. We're going to get shirts made that say I don't have a use case for that. That's actually one of the next shirts we're making because I say that a lot. How to mount to Unify without drilling holes in a renter? No, I'm sorry, I cannot, because you have to drill holes to mount them. There's not an easy way to do it. Just set it on top of something like a shelf. That's how you not drill holes. Don't stick it to the ceiling. They should open source Hawaii code so we can all check that it's not spying on us. So I have friends from China. I have friends that have spent time in China, and there is a different dynamic to the way they think. It's not good or bad. It is different. and therefore they, yes, what a lot of who I did was wrong, but I also see the other side of it where to them there's not wrong, it's all about winning, and I think that's wrong myself. That my own opinion is I don't agree with Hawaii's. They've been in trouble for a few different things. I think recently they got in trouble for stealing some secrets on glass, but open source is going to be the only way. If they are not going to ever be transparent, they're going to keep losing trust, and China will either shift how they think about those things, or they will lose more and more out to other open source competitors. That's just how it's going to work on there. So more importantly, our children are using closed source software in schools. They're good. Google's a weird. Yes, I know mostly closed source, but they're also able to provide things that you can't easily do in the open source world. So you're not gonna get Google out of schools. Matter of fact, Google got Microsoft out of schools. We traded big companies. There's always gonna be a level of influence in that. But Google is more favorable to open source than Microsoft used to be. Now Google and Microsoft are in a feel-good fest for who can be nicer to open source, who loves it more. They realize they both embrace it as their company. Their monetization is different. Microsoft monetizes Azure. Microsoft monetizes the tooling that you use to build things, and Google monetizes you. So different dynamics. I don't know how that really plays out for schools when they monetize the existence of human beings. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. How do you back up open source systems such as Freepbx, or is there a BDR solution? Freepbx is, well, there's two different ways to do this. If you care about redundancy, you can do high availability on Freepbx. That's one option. Another option is Freepbx has a backup file. It exports a database file that you can restore to another Freepbx box. So if the phone system dies, you just reload it with Freepbx and restore that file, therefore creating a solution. If you need redundancy, they make redundant systems for failover for Freepbx. It does support that as well. You don't really need to do a BDR solution with it. It's just not necessary because you can just reload it. Other options are, though, you can virtualize Freepbx, which is our solution. And virtualization is more or less the same as a BDR solution at some point. I have a video I'm going to be doing on that pretty soon, too. Hey, Tom, thanks for all the great content. Ordered some of your shirts last week. I had a hard time deciding. All the designs are great. Thanks. So Kyle is the designer who does all the shirts internally. Sometimes I come up with ideas, and Kyle's the implementer of them, in case you're ever wondering. So Kyle's got a pretty good, he's good at drawing and things like that. It's a skill he definitely has. Kyle, primarily, he does a lot of MSP stuff, but he also is the assistant to some of the web things as well, in case you're wondering how that works internally. Soon on the Synology. You're asking, and so is Synology. They're very understanding. They sent me the box. I did a video. It's got a lot of views. I've already tested like the backups and a few other things on there, and making sure I'm concise on the videos. So I have kind of a beta video, but it's not done. I'm particular about things. If I start a video and I too much, these live streams are kind of not nerve-wracking for me, but I'm more careful, and I'm umming a little more right now. But I think about that a lot to make sure that the content's very solid, very good, very concise. So I've actually scrapped probably more videos than I've recorded, because I record it, I play it back, I go, this isn't content that I like. I'm very harsh on myself, and I even have looked at videos that got through that are published that I know have some views, but I'm also like, I don't think they were very good. I've debated about deleting them at times. So I'm really particular about that. I also double check for accuracy. If I think I said something that was inaccurate, because I re-listened to the video I may have produced, I also will cancel that video. So that's another aspect of it. So Synology videos are coming. They are really, I'm excited. I like the product. We deploy these for clients. These are solutions we deploy. So it's not that I'm not familiar with them. It's that I use them a little bit less than my staff does. My staff knows some of this more. So part of the video process that you don't see is me going, hey, how does this work, Steve? Those are real things that happen in my office. I know a lot, but occasionally I have a knowledge gap. Yeah, they're nice boxes. I still am a preferred FreeNAS person. That is what I run myself as FreeNAS. But I think Synology is a great solution, and for some of my clients, it is a better, more rounded solution. We pitched one. There's a proposal I'm waiting on an approval for that is a small Synology box, just a 2-drive one for a small business, but it's a better solution for what they need to do. The thing they need to do with it works better with Synology than it will with FreeNAS because of the particular use case. And we always want the best solution for our client. We're not a cookie cutter IT company that tries to push the same solution down everyone's throat. We customize those solutions to the clients so long as they're easy to manage and there's something that fits within the ethos of what we do. Fun stuff. Wow, that's a mouthful. But I'll bring back though. I'm excited about the Huntress Labs because we discovered a few things that was kind of missed here and there. So the Huntress Labs videos, those are ones that I hope to have done next week. I'm really excited about. Unraid versus FreeNAS. I don't have a use case for Unraid, so FreeNAS all day. Plus, Unraid's not open source or completely free. I don't think it's a bad product. Those are just facts. And it doesn't run on ZFS. When it comes to large-scale enterprise storage, FreeNAS all day, every day. We had someone reach out to me, and I'm engaged in a company that wants us to build a new SAN for them that's going to be quite large. That's going to be FreeNAS. That's what they are. They already decided that's what they want. They want FreeNAS. They want ZFS. Boom. That's the important parts of those. That's why I like them. I have a whole lot of FreeNAS videos I want to finish right now. We do a lot with FreeNAS. It's very flexible. I was just talking to one of the engineers there, the maintainers of some of the IO Cage plugins. There's a whole bunch of new IO Cage plugins coming. I've actually debated about even getting more involved in the development of IO Cage plugins because they made the format look so easier to use. So yeah, definitely. The IO Cage videos are coming as well. So Synology or FreeNAS, like I said, it depends on the use case. For a little home box, it's hard to beat the Synology if you want to have those features. If you're like me, I want to hack all the things and customize the crap out of it with lots and lots of options. I'm going to go with FreeNAS because I like being able to get to the source code and actually modify it. But which one's easier to use? Oh, I'm sorry, Synology. That's not even a real question. I'm sorry. I think FreeNAS is easy. I think Synology is going to be a little bit easier. But it's a commercial product. It's a closed source product. I like the open source, so I don't have a Synology for myself, but I'm the guy who's going to take it apart and learn. If you're not, and someone had put on our forums. Oh, by the way, join our forums if I haven't mentioned this. I try to participate a lot there, but someone had mentioned forums. They want a friend who just wants to use Plex to get things set up. If they don't care about the other side of it and are tinkering it with the FreeNAS, they want to set it and forget it box. The Synology is great for that. It's kind of a no-brainer. Pop in a Synology, just use it for the basic features that you have the use case for. And this person's like, I just need some storage, I need Plex. Done. Use it. It's a great box for that. It's very affordable. It's a nice turnkey product. So it's not as much about comparison. It's kind of like, is this all you want to do? Is there no limitations? And you're fine with it, great. If I can get another box, I'm going to stick another NIC in it and use as my FreeNAS box. Cool. Yeah. Because why not? So, yeah, it's just any one thing you talk about in tech, there's so many options out there. And it's not that these other options are wrong. Sometimes it just comes down to personal preference, to the way you like the menus laid out, the way you like the features laid out. That's going to judge or push you and be the judging factor of how you decide which product you're going to use. It's like when you come down to phones or things like that. It's not that they're dramatically different. They're all based on that same Snapdragon. You're like, oh, but I need 2 cameras in the back or 1 camera. Do you have a need for 2 cameras? Do you care about it? Does that matter to you at all? Or are you just going, I just want something that dials and makes phone calls and I can reply to emails on? Well, now you lower the bar so much you can go with a cheap phone. You don't need the Pixel 2 XL for that. So, yeah, that's... it is hard choosing tech. We were talking about that day, like when you build a new computer, AMD, Intel. Do I go with this build, that build? Which video card do I do? I mean, the choices are endless. In the end, both of them may play the game at the same frame rate, and the price difference may be very nominal between them to get the same game at the same frame rate. And it's always a joke. I love Reddit PC Master Race. It always makes me laugh. But it is. It's like the game isn't even playing the game on the computer. It's about choosing the computer. Sometimes it's more the game than the actual game itself. So that comes with any tech. Switches, people don't talk as much about it, but it's one of those things. If you don't have much more than just a couple VLANs, get a smart switch. If you have no VLANs at all, you have a flat network like at home, and you go, I'm not even segmenting my network in any way. Why would you buy any of that? You just go with that. But then when you look at the cheap switches, you're like, do I buy this brand or that brand? They both route at gigabit. I did some testing because I was curious. I grabbed a handful of random switches, a TP-Link, a Cisco, and something else. I want to say what I did by testing, I never did a video on this, but they were all less than 1% away from each other in speed. That's not enough to even do a video over. You're talking about a 1% variance in speed between expensive brand and cheap brand switches. Not features, just dumb switches. It becomes kind of a no-brainer for some of this stuff. So what are you going to do? Yeah, I'm alive. I didn't make a video for a few days. That's definitely an issue, right? ZoneMinder, I didn't like. I didn't feel it was a very complete project. There's a couple new projects I can't remember at the moment that are looking a little bit better. Open source NVR is really hard. There's not been a big push for it. The demand is kind of there. That's part of the problem. It's also really hard to write NVR systems. It's not easy. You're dealing with a lot of streams. You're dealing with a lot of data. You have to figure out how to manipulate and index that data in a reasonable way at scale. So I've not seen a lot of good open source projects on that. I think it's just a really challenging project with not enough people focused on it from the open source. I'd love to see it, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't know that there's going to be a problem. Zyxel switches, I've used them, they're fine. Plan on doing videos on ExactVision. They're really tough to do because we don't have an ExactVision server. We deploy ExactVision servers. We've deployed them we put a lot of them for school districts. I can't show you the videos on those. I would have all kinds of potential legal pitfalls just bringing cameras into schools with minors and filming issues and things like that. Matter of fact, I laugh. Casey Neistat, one of his videos, he talks about that. I thought it was really funny when he's giving kind of a business talk, and he talked about how he got in trouble for going to a school and just filming something like, you had no permission to be there, so it caused a problem when he was working for Nike. And he's like, I didn't know. And I take cues. I know there's probably potential legal issues with things like that, so I kind of avoid them by not bringing a camera into a school. I just don't. And that's every ExactVision install we have is at a school, so I can't review it because it's never made it to our office. We delivered them directly to the school. They're big servers that have hundreds of cameras on them. There's not, whole different thing. See what else we got here. There was actually a Supreme Court of Canada decision involving a teacher caught filming a female student without permission. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Skip Olivia is right. By the way, look up Skip Olivia. There's a legal blog put together where there's a lot of insight that he's been putting together, and it's actually been very interesting. I follow it. He's actually a longtime follower of my YouTube. Sends me some interesting things that sometimes have turned into videos I mentioned. So definitely go check that out. I think you can Google it. I don't know. Well, I'll post it. I'm gonna do some more videos about some of the stuff and about articles posted on Skip Olivia's blog. Thoughts on Unify Protect? I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on there. We finally got one, and we've been testing it. It's in my lobby. The video, no. I think if you look in the thumbnail of this, I don't know if the thumbnail of it or not. Either way, there's a Unify Protect in there. So yeah. Have I tried Wave over Exact? No, I have not. I just hate the Sonic Wall interface, if you want to know why. 1, pfSense is open source. 2, Sonic Wall has a confusing interface I don't like. So that's my answer for Sonic Wall. I don't like Sonic Wall at all. I was amazing in Lord of the Rings. I have no idea what that means at all. I don't get the reference. Maybe it flies over my head. I am going to keep this going a little bit longer. Is there, not that I'm running out of things to talk about, but I am slowly running out of beer. Well, not running out of whiskey. I can't drink too much whiskey or I won't dare. Will they allow it in Docker? No, not likely at all. I don't predict that they'll put it in Docker. I think Unify is, I don't know where they're going with this. They're unfortunately not the best people about releasing good roadmaps. I think they put things out to market like this as a test. Here's the other thing. They're actively updating the other software. There's a 3.10 version. We haven't updated to it yet because we're waiting a couple days and got to find some downtime. But they're actively updating the other software as well. So Unify Protect is getting updates, and the other software is getting updates. The other software, though, is the one you build yourself, which creates its own challenge. And thank you, Oscar, for mentioning that I use a wiki server for documentation. That is still true. We still use the wiki server for documentation. That is still our main documentation method because it's one of the easiest ways I've seen to do documentation and have an internally hosted server with not any external access, so we can keep it very locked down. Very limited number of people use it. Not even all my staff has access to it. That's how we have a video on exactly how we're using it for management. It's an important kind of integral piece for that. The PSS document based off looks cool. Let's learn that. Yeah. So hopefully that's helpful on that part of it. What was I gonna say? I got my thought train got derailed. Are you gonna do a video getting started with PFSense 2019 video? My 2018 video is absolutely relevant. So I don't know if I'm gonna do a 2019 because there's not any changes that have happened since I did my 2018 video. It's all the same version. There had been some subversion changes, but they're mostly like updates to things, not adding any new. There's not been any dramatic feature changes, or not been any dramatic interface changes. It's more like tweaking and tuning features and updating to newer versions, but not really adding any major breakthroughs in terms of menus. So my 2018 video was absolutely relevant. Maybe I'll redo it because people like it. Maybe I'll retitle my 2018 video to 2019. I could do that. PFSense firewall rules and the details. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing though reviews on I think one of the things I like that they're focusing on over at Netgate is they want to bring PFSense to the masses. PFSense does. Did one of the coders from PFSense? Yeah, I think one of the engineers. I don't know the details, but yes, I think that happened. So I can't remember the person's name. One of them did switch companies. There's not a lot of people that know how to design firewalls. Firewalls are critical to infrastructure, but good firewall designers are few and far between. It's not easy to be a firewall designer. It's not impossible. It's something one of you could learn. So yes, yeah, that's absolutely something that I think there's probably a competition between these companies to hire each other across there on there. Can you update PFSense as YouTube for always have error messages? Look those error messages up on their forums. You got to figure out why they're. Will I do a video on TNSR? I don't know. I've not really messed with it, and their documentation on it's fairly poor, so I've not really done much with it. I don't know where they're going with it. I don't know why they don't have maybe I'll have to watch. Maybe they've done some release videos on it that I just haven't taken the time to watch. I'll look into it. It's like I said, it's on my to-do list. Sorry, I'm yawning, getting a little tired. It's 9 o'clock and I've been up since 4 a.m. So I'm slowly nodding off on you here. Let's see. So maybe I will do a video on it one time. It's kind of like on my to-do list, but not on today's to-do list, and it's not in the queue at all. I've not done any research on TNSR to really to give you a concise video on it. Yeah, go through I have an entire things on there, on PFSense. So there's a ton of videos I have on it that are great, that you can really go through and learn a lot of partner. Thank you very much on the 50K subscribers. Do I have any recommendations on DEF CON videos or specific DEF CON presenters to look into? I'm going to say watch them all, but that's obviously not reasonable or rational at the time. I would probably, Jay Street's videos are amazing. Jay Street, or Jayson, I think that's how he spells it. You can find Jason Street. They're good. Oh yeah, plenty of more XCP and G videos. They just updated to 7.6.3. that added ext4. I have to do a video on that. It's on my to-do list. I talked about it. They added two things that are really important. They added better compression for the backups. They added also the ext4. So your LVM volumes are always stored in a ext3 format, so they moved and added ext4. So that's going to be a big improvement. It's one of those things that Citrix never wanted to push upstream to the Zen server, so I'm really happy that Oliver Lambert, he's one of the head programmers for the XCPNG project and for the Zen Orchestra project, and they pushed it all upstream. So I'm going to be doing a video on that soon. I need to just do some comparisons. I just got to get the time to do it so I can show you the difference. Like I could tell you the difference now. That's also in a blog post. I want to show you the compression difference, and I want to learn myself the compression differences between them and talk about how the backups work. So, to-do list. I thought my list was long until I started watching video. When I'm only giving you my video to-do list because I think it's relevant to you. My to-do list of clients to follow up on, taxes need to be done. I have to have my corporate filing by March 15th. I've got most all that finished. I just finished my P&L for January every month. So I have a really long to-do list for my business outside of just what you guys see here on YouTube. How do I convince my wife that I really need my tech toys? Start a company. Then you'll have all the tech toys you want. You don't even know what to do with them all. So, hey, look, I think my daughter's here and I have to go do something with her. So, all right, I am going to jump off of here. Awesome. Thank you for 90 people here at Vlog Thursday. Do I have to go take you to somewhere? Okay.
Yeah.
I got to go do a thing. So, go hang out with kids. So, yeah. Have fun. Talk to all you later. I will see you guys in the next Thursday is the next live stream, and we'll go from there. Later. There's the off button.